In case you haven't guessed, today's pen review is of Platinum's 3776 Century Star Wars Darth Vader. This pen was released to coincide with the Rise of Skywalker. I'll try to convince you why I consider this one of the best pens of 2019. In order to evaluate this pen, I first need to talk about 3776 Centuries. I'm a big fan of the slip and seal cap. You can leave the pen lying around for months, uncap it, and it writes as if you just inked it up. The first Century that I got is the Shoji, which is one of the lakes that surrounds Mount Fuji. It's probably about 8 years old and has a fine nib. It's a demonstrator, and you'll see how this figures in on my decision why the Darth Vader is such a cool pen. The Chartreuse Blue and Bourgogne are both demonstrators, and they're exactly the same pen as the Shoji. The Nice Lilac is again a demonstrator. The only difference is that the hardware is rose gold, and there's a little bit of a texture on the outside of the pen. And another demonstrator, the Kawaguchi. Again, the difference is some texture on the outside, but it's the same nib, and it's also a demonstrator. A couple of limited editions. This one is a Wagner, and it does have a little bit of a different nib, but again, a demonstrator with some texture. This one is the Japanese magazine Shimino Bungu Bako's special edition. It's a demonstrator, and it's light blue with the same nib. Because of this, I decided to skip the Carnelian, which is a demonstrator that's kind of sparkly, the Roca, which is a demonstrator with a really beautiful texture, and the Kumpo, which has a really beautiful turquoise color, but again, I've just got that pen. I'm not dissing the Century pens. I have them because they're very useful. They stayed inked up mostly, but I was getting a little burned out on them, and then along came Darth Vader. Let's start out with an unboxing. You've pretty much well already seen the outside box. You slide off that cardboard part, and there's the inner box, and there's the pen. It has a pretty cool Star Wars design on the inside top. Pull that out. Underneath is the blotter card. And then the paperwork. The amazing thing is all you get is just a cartridge. There is no converter. It's a nice glossy shiny black. The weight and balance is the same as the other Century pens. The hardware is a dark gray, not just the clip, but also the trim ring and the center band. And the cap finial has the same Galactic Empire design as the nib. Darth Vader and the design both feel like they are painted on, and they feel like they're on pretty good, not like they'll scratch off. But of course, what did it for me is the nib. It is a stamped, not etched nib. It is a ruthenium plated 14 karat gold nib with Galactic Empire and the Galactic Empire stamp on it. I've read that Tassia is starting to sell their ukiyo-e inks in the States, so we'll use the Koi-ai ink for today. Since they didn't supply a converter, today I'll be using a platinum converter from Bungu Box. It's got dragonflies painted on it. This pen is only offered in a fine nib. This is a pretty wet ink, so the fine line is not too fine. And like all my other 3776 Centuries, it's smooth with just a hint of feedback so you're not slipping all over the paper. It's well balanced and light, great for long writing sessions. It has about the same weight and proportions as a TWSBI Echo, a Mont Blanc 146, or a Franklin Christoph 46. At the end of the month, I'll be putting out a video on pens that shaped 2019. Platinum has refreshed their 3776 Century line with this collaboration with Star Wars. That's why Darth Vader will be on that list. For me, the Platinum Century line is the most useful pens that I own. I hope they will continue by stretching the boundaries on what they're going to do with the 3776. I'd like to see a limited edition pen for outside of Japan, and Centuries made of different kinds of materials. I really enjoy my Darth Vader pen. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go use it now.